welcome to another episode of the Lone Recruiter Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Clementson, and today we are joined by the one and only Pete Watson. Pete, welcome.
Hello, Brett. Thank you for having me, mate.
For those of you at home who don't know who Pete Watson is, and I highly doubt that you don't know who this guy is because he's the loudest guy on LinkedIn I know, Mint Recruitment, founder, director, Australia's longest serving rec-to-rec recruiter. I feel like I'm with royalty right now. Thank you for joining.
Behave, mate. Behave. I mean, that's a claim that depending on what mood I'm in, it'll either make me feel very proud or very old. Today I feel very old, but your energy is lifting me, mate. Your energy is lifting me.
That is the goal. So let's kick into it. What is the recruitment market doing right now in Australia? You're East Coast, right?
In Melbourne and Sydney are probably my two playgrounds. I don't, to some degree, think I'm qualified to answer this question. I know you might disagree, because I'll let you into a little secret. Recruitment company owners tell you what they want you to hear to a degree. Now, I'm not suggesting they're lying, but I definitely feel that they are present a glass half full assessment of how their businesses are performing. There isn't a single recruitment company owner on the planet who's going to speak to a rec and say, yeah, we're really struggling. We're doing really badly. So for that reason, I don't know if you always get the best and most accurate data. But what I would say is the more seasoned recruiters out there, the recruitment business owners who've been around for a while, they're all pretty much saying the same thing, which is, this is not a bad market. This is a normal market. We've been around for a while, so we're doing okay. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Most recruitment business owners are telling me that they think, the bottoming out of the market is either just behind us or we're in it right now. And they're all probably saying that we've probably got another 3, 4, 5, 6 months of grind before the sun shines again. I don't know what they're basing that on. None of them have got crystal balls, but that's kind of what they're all saying. That said, everybody's saying 2025 is going to be great, but it wasn't that long ago everybody was saying 2024 was going to be great, and it hasn't been. So that probably doesn't answer your question at all, but that's just what I'm hearing.
It's very self-serving for us recruiters to peddle optimism, right?
100%. What else can you do, mate? What else can you do?
So look, what you can give me some insights around is the people taking candidates from you, the people paying your invoices. That's where money talks, right? And I think that's where, are there particular pockets you're seeing, without giving any sort of client intel away, that are doing quite well at the moment? Are there any pockets that are really just gone absolutely dead quiet? I'm talking from like a technical.
I don't think I've got a single client who isn't hiring.
Okay.
It's not about appetite to hire. It's about appetite to hire the right people. And if you present a recruiter who's got strong local market experience or an incredibly strong CV coming from the UK or wherever it might be, and they're a proven biller and they've got a BD focus, categorically, all of my clients would hire that person if they were relevant to the discipline in which they operate. Nobody's got hiring freezes on. Absolutely nobody. So things ain't that bad.
No. Okay, I love it. Thank you. All right. Well, the one that a lot of people want to know, and some people know, some people don't, but I'm seeing and hearing a lot about what is a low performer, what's a medium performer, what's a high performer in a recruitment agency. I'm talking about billings. I even read a post today from someone saying that there are people who don't even know what they're billing, which blows my mind. But do you have any sense around that metric of
I think numbers have been revised. I was speaking to a client yesterday, and they attach a certain level of billings to a certain job title, and they admitted that number is probably inflated because it's a post-COVID number, and they probably need to scale it back a bit. Look, it's so hard to say, because what good looks like in one business will be totally different to what good looks like in another business. There will be organizations who will be super happy with a 300k biller, right? And there will be other organizations who, if you're doing 300k in their business, you're probably a low performer and your job might even be in the balance. There are businesses that somehow manage to produce many $1 million, several million-dollar billers. I can think of one business at the top of my head who I won't name. They just seem to produce million-dollar billers. And these people sit in the business for many, many years, producing $1 million every year. And then there's other organizations, big branded organizations, who you would expect to have plenty of $1 million billers in there, and they might not have any. So it depends. It's so hard to say. But, I always say, when I get asked the question from UK recruiters, what looks good, what's average, what makes me a superstar, I always say, look, if you come to Australia and you're doing 100K quarters, you're doing okay, right? You're doing okay, your job's safe, you're making a bit of commission, but you're not exactly shooting the lights out. But if you come to Australia and in, say, year 2, you're doing 500-600 grand, then clearly things are going well. But to tell you what good looks like, it depends. I get excited as a rec to rec. I get excited if I get a CV or I speak to a recruiter who's doing anything north of 500K.
Okay, that's actually useful to know, and that makes sense.
But I can still place recruiters who are doing 350, 400.
Horses for courses, then. Horses for courses.
Yeah, 100%.
My next question to you was, how do you determine if a recruiter is good? Like, we are very good at big noting ourselves. I'm assuming there are people here who just chew your ear off. But do you have any cutting questions that really work out who's who in the zoo?
Do I have any cutting questions? No, I don't really. I mean, I haven't gone into an interview, if that's the right. I don't even feel like I interview candidates, to be honest. I can get a sense of who I'm speaking to within minutes, as any experienced recruiter can. But I don't go in with a list of questions that I want to have answered. It all just comes out naturally. But the number one thing I'm looking for is energy and personality. I spoke to, careful what I say, but I spoke to a very, very experienced and seasoned recruiter not that long ago. And just like, it was really hard to have a conversation with that person. It was just blood from a stone. And because I put the phone down and wasn't excited by the interaction that I had with that person, I kind of don't know how I'm going to go and sell that person. But I spoke to a lady recently. This is going to sound ridiculous, but I said to her, "How you doing?" And her first response to me was, "I am brilliant." And as soon as she said, "I am brilliant," I just knew we were going to get along, and I knew she was going to have energy, and I knew she was going to have all the correct character traits and personality and enthusiasm for me to represent with the passion and enthusiasm that I want to attach to my job. And yeah, I placed her. I got her a few offers, and she's now very, very happy and starts on Monday. So for me, your CV comes into it, your experience comes into it, your performance history, of course, comes into it. And the number one question when you present a CV to any employer is, what did they bill? What did they bill last year? What did they bill the year before? But for me personally, it's energy. It's always been energy.
Yeah, controlled energy. We don't want chaos energy.
Correct.
Well, maybe we want some chaos. Look at this guy talking. So I was saying just off camera before that our roads have intertwined a few times over the years. I've never had to use you as your rec direct services yet. I think we got close with something, but I have crossed paths with you. I feel like you're all in. You're all in with this recruitment sector. You're not just Australia's longest serving rec direct. You're probably one of the most active and most giving, because I was quickly going through and I forgot some of these things that you're doing, but it's just like where we first met was the Recruiter's Mentor Project, depths of COVID, and I think everyone was a bit kind of lonely and whatever, and you decided, you know what, there are so many recruiters who need mentorship, and there's so many recruiters willing to mentor. Let's put a program together while we're all at home twiddling our thumbs. And that's where I got involved. I met a great guy, through that, and I helped him get to the next level in his career. I got a lot out of that, and then obviously, COVID ended, and it was probably a lot of work for you. And I don't think you're doing that so much anymore. But I know you've still got the Recruiters Wagon, which is the sober recruiters of the world all together on a WhatsApp group, just talking. They meet up all the time. The support in that group is unbelievable, and they can thank you for that, Pete. Like that, there's an incredible network of people in that Recruiters Wagon. Irrespective of what you might get out of it or not get out of it. But that is such a good thing you've done there. You've also got your own podcast, the Recruitment Journeys podcast. And if you're if you're a recruiter hungry for recruitment info and guests and whatever, he does long form stuff. If you're listening to this, you're used to hearing our short, sharp, punchy stuff. But if you want to sit back, get a nice cup of tea and really lean into it, I think Pete's got some great episodes in there. So definitely jump on the Recruitment Journeys podcast. And I see the annual football comp for recruiters, and every year I hover over, should I put a team in or not? I don't play. It just looks like fun. So you're doing a lot, right? And the recent one, and this is what prompted me to reach out to you, because I thought I'd love to help you, because I just feel like we're on the same mission in a lot of ways, which is like been around for a while now. And you want to keep giving back. It makes sense for what you do because you rec to rec, but there is, I think, just genuine good in you. So, you've come up this year with the Recruitment United concept. Do you want to tell me about that? Because there's kind of two groups you've got there. I really just want you to talk to my audience and our audience about what that is, because there's probably people here who could get a lot out of it.
Thank you, mate. Well, first of all, thank you for your kind words and remembering all those things. I hadn't forgotten about the Recruiters Mentor Project, but I'd sort of forgotten that you were in there. That was that was good while it lasted. So Recruitment United. So, which is, first of all, it's a homage to my football team, Manchester United. Different ball, better sport. Look, essentially, I was on the treadmill about 3 months ago, and it occurred to me. Look, I based on everything that you just said, I love community, right? I love bringing recruiters together. I enjoy it. And I think when recruiters are given the opportunity to come together, they usually grab it with both hands. I think for many, many years, people, certainly of my age, maybe not yours, but of my age, we were taught in the early days of our recruitment career that we should keep everybody else at arm's length. Everybody else was crap. We're brilliant. We were brainwashed. We were taught to actively dislike the competition. And that still exists to a certain degree. When COVID happened, suddenly the recruitment industry put an arm around each other, and competitors were nice to each other and leaning on each other and supporting each other. And that was amazing. And that's why I started Recruiters Mentor Project. But it taught us, and it showed us, and it proved to us that we could talk to other recruiters, and guess what? The sun would still come up tomorrow. So I was on the treadmill 3 months ago, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I just start a community for small business owners like myself? And I jumped on LinkedIn that afternoon and put something out. And within a week, we had 75 small recruitment business owners, all jumping on a WhatsApp group and all talking and collaborating and knowledge sharing. And I thought, wow, okay, we're sort of onto something. And 3 months later, there are now 250 of us. And the whole idea is just for recruiters who are not necessarily isolated. I suppose that was my original message when I first went out. Are you a lonely business owner? And that's sort of what I was thinking, but that's not necessarily what I'm thinking right now. It's more about recruiters who understand the power of community, who understand that they may have been doing it a certain way for a while, but there's so many people out there that do it differently. And if you bring us all together, we have the ability to tap into that knowledge, into those ideas, and you can ask advice, and you've got advice on tap, and the advice will just come back to you tenfold by 10 different people with 10 different answers. And it's just cool. It's just cool to see recruiters talking to each other and collaborating and knowledge sharing and being open with their hacks and their tips and their tricks. And it's brilliant. I love it. So there's one group for sole traders, one-man bands, two woman bands, that type of thing. And then there's another group for boutiques and medium-sized companies. But collectively, there's 250 of us. And what I want to do is not only foster that community, but bring to the group a suite of services that they, as small business owners, have probably never had access to. So that would be trainers, that would be guest speakers, that would be discounts, that would be, so we've had Greg Savage, got Sean Anderson, we've had Laura Hobbs, got Martin Richardson, the lawyer, we've got Paul Masters, the M&A guy. The list goes on. And I'm just trying to bring all of this value to a group of people who, as small business owners, they never would have had access to. And it's cool, man. I'm loving it. It's thoroughly
That's
enjoyable,
awesome.
and it's nice to do.
And how can people get involved with the Recruitment United groups, one or the other? Are there any prerequisites or any sort of hurdles?
The only prerequisite I would have, and there hasn't been any until recently, but the only prerequisite I would have, based on something that sort of happened recently, I won't go into too much detail, but I want the group to be a positive forum. I want it to be full of people with an open mind. I don't want closed-mindedness in the group. I want people to go, do you know what? That looks and sounds great. I'm going to give it a crack. Or it wasn't for me, but it might be useful for other people. And I just want it to be, if you've got an open mind, a positive outlook, you want to learn, and you want to learn from other people, come into the group. That's it. There's no forms to fill in. There's nothing. I just need your number and I'll add you to the group.
I just reach out to Pete on LinkedIn. I'm in one of those groups myself, and I can tell you there's value being delivered to that thing, daily, weekly, if not daily. And we've already engaged with one of I think you brought a lawyer in to give some advice around terms, and we joined in and went, let's just see what we're missing. And there are a couple of things we got out of that, and for an hour of, your day to get a couple of little things like that, that's what it's about, right? It's not about changing everything you do. It's just like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's go with that. Well, look, thank you. There's no one else doing that. Most people are charging a premium for that sort of service. And, I think, again, you do it from the goodness of your heart and totally get it. Mate, I love it. So good. I'm going to wrap that up. That's a pretty good, tidy episode. We've covered a lot of ground, and I know you're not used to doing such quick episodes, but I see the value in it now. You're going to steal my format, aren't you?
It's weird, mate. I don't do anything within 16 minutes. That's mind blowing.
Well, there you go.
I tend to waffle, so it's good that you've kept me on track.
Very good. Look, okay, if you're a recruiter, I'm going to try and do the plug now. If you're a recruiter in Australia and you haven't heard of Pete Watson, seriously do yourself a favour and just follow the guy. If you're a recruiter that's a 360 recruiter, you heard some figures there. If you're thinking, shit, I'm getting whipped for these sort of numbers, maybe talk to Pete. Maybe he has a friendlier outfit for you. If you're a recruiter in the UK, what countries do you like to see people come from for Australia? UK, America?
Mate, UK
English
is the easy
speaking
one, to be honest.
Yeah. There seems to be jobs there, so reach out to Pete. He's your man. That's it. Free content, left, right, and centre. Boom. As always, guys.
And if you're a small business owner, jump into Recruitment United.
Jump in. You will not. There's just absolute, just oozing gold in those groups. Guys, have an amazing day. Like, share, subscribe. As always, may all your deals come true.